Okay guys, we are fighting losing sunlight, so I'm going to do a little quick video of this right now before we cover it over and you can't see it. Just a few tips. Just roll up side. We used 1 3/8" strap clamps to hold this to the tunnel while we put screws in the back side of these purlins for the roll up side. It's not really a purlin, it's just a 1 3/8" top. Here's the bracket. Tiffany just took them off, and we only put one screw in these guys. We only put one screw in them. It's all that's necessary. It makes a hole in the fabric, but when you roll your fabric up, because you're going to roll that around that 2 or 3 times, the hole is never going to be seen again unless you take it apart. So we've got a temporary, got this up here. We lost our little clamp, so we're using a exhaust clamp I had. But we got a temporary bracket here for this. It may have to be moved and adjusted. We got our roll up gearbox mechanism on there and handle temporarily on. And then if you look right there, you'll see the little pan head screw. Now we did this. This is not called for, but we're trying this. So if when we buy another one of these tunnels, we may order extras of these clips that they send for the bottom to protect it. But we're trying to help hold things in place because them little screws are bad to come out. So we've got several of them down there. You'll see another one there, all the way the length. And me and Tiffany is getting ready to roll this up because we're losing daylight. But I wanted to let you all see that before it was inside the tunnel, roll up side and invisible. So there you go. All right. That's the leftovers. That's the work crew. So this is compost. And on the end here we got mulch, shredded mulch, because we won't be planting up here, so this can take time to decay. We're going to need some more brought down and put right there. A little bit more outside here, so try and take care of the mud hole around it. So as you can see the difference, mulch, compost, got cow manure, a little bit of everything in here, but that is mulch, big difference. But this last 4 feet we won't be using for crops. That'll be our work area, so we'll put the mulch there. Take it longer to break down. Probably come back with another layer or 2 in here to give us a good workstation. There's Daniel. Daniel, say hi. Hi. And there's the rest of the crew. Okay, who's ready for a grand tour of our greenhouse? High tunnel greenhouse. It's not heated. We will put a little bit of heat in here if needed, but early spring for the tomatoes, because we'll plant the tomatoes early to try to get a good crop going. But let's do a tour. This was a lot of work, but well worth it. So this is our upper end, roll up curtain door. We need to do a little modification on that to make it perfect. That handle, I'll show you when we get out there, needs to be turned 180 degrees so this can roll up one more half a revolution, or one more revolution. Yeah. So we've got compost down. Our grant didn't necessarily require this, but it gave us bonus points to have this. So right here is how we attach our wow, Anyway, this is what the plastic attaches to. I forget what they call it now. And our roll-up side attaches to it at the bottom. So that is attached, the bow is attached with 2 stainless steel nuts and bolts. And then we put a screw in it to hold it in spot. And then you'll see where the ground post goes in. This is the ground post. You will see the Tek screws on each side that hold that in place. And all of our ground posts are concreted in. We put 50 pounds of concrete on every post, 80 pounds on each corner post, and the center post has 80 pounds on it, 80 to 100. So these are the purlins that run from end to end. That strengthens your tunnel. Now, if you notice up here, you might see something that you might think strange. That purlin is on the outside, on the top there, but on the ends, it goes under. Now, that's not a mistake. That's the way it's designed. That's no doubt to keep from tearing your plastic. It's just a better design. And here we are already framed out for an exhaust fan. That'll be a future modification this year or next year. Here we are framed out for a man door. So by a man door, it just means it's a door that you can walk in and out instead of having to roll up the end of the tunnel when you don't need to in the winter. So there'll be one going in here pretty soon. Here are corner braces. Those are on all 4 corners, and that helps support that end wall. We use steel end walls because we are certified organic. That's just the best way to do it. It's a little bit more expensive, but it really makes for a nice tunnel too. So this is just a brace that braces the outside to the middle. And we got 2 braces over there because we don't have a door on that side. And then down there at the bottom is our hat base. That's just what the roll-up side rolls down on. That's got to be level. Where each one of these joins together, we got a piece of aluminum that bolts up with 4 stainless steel bolts and nuts. You will see that every other bow has a cross brace. That is just for added support, and we'll also use that to attach our purlin or conduit that we'll use for our tomatoes trellis, which I may be working on tomorrow. So there's nothing else to see down there. Let's go outside. So we're quite happy, as you can imagine. I still remember when I built my first DIY greenhouse. Loved it. Spent a lot of time in it. And I can remember when I built my second one when we moved onto the farm. And then we bought 2 small ones. And now we're moving into another large one. You know, I was going to take you down this side, but that sun is going to hit us there. So let's go down the other side. You'll see we got some more mulch to spread. I got some on the back of the tractor right now, but we put mulch up here where we won't be planting, and we'll do it outside here also. And that's just so we don't have to deal with a mud hole. So when you're indoors up, you have this anchor at the top that the handle goes in, and when it's down, it goes down there, and that one is where it sets to hold everything in place. These are the guides for a roll-up indoors. Let me see, we got a U-joint. And then here is our roll-up sides. So there's the handle for it, and it just hangs freely. We hope to upgrade this to an automatic roll-up side. So here is your guide pipe, and that's attached at the bottom with a carriage bolt. And we extend that out the way they do it. It doesn't fit as well as we'd like for it to, so we put a carriage bolt in it that extends it out. And I'm sure if your ground was perfect, it would work better, but our ground is not perfect, so work with what we got. These posts keep it from billowing in and out. You can see our roof plastic. Now I could have showed you on the inside. We opted for, and some tunnels don't do that, but we have, and it's standard on this kit, plastic that had got an inside and an outside. Now that's for, the biggest reason that is for is so that it's got an anti-drip. It will still drip, don't get me wrong, but it keeps it from dripping everywhere from condensation. So keep that in mind when you're buying your tunnels. We looked at several more. This is an Atlas Budget Plus 30 by 96, and we looked at a lot more tunnels, and I didn't find one I liked better than this one. We thought about switching this time because that one is a Budget Plus. It's a shorter one than this one. That's a 30 by 72 behind me, and this is a 30 by 96 in front of me. We thought about switching to a different one, but at the end of the day, we really are happy with this Atlas tunnel, so we kept it. So you look down here at the bottom at the hat base. That attaches with a Tech screw. And because of the weather, we had this on and off a few times. So it attaches with one screw, but that one screw hole wasn't holding tight enough for me. So on this particular one, and there's a few others, so I put a second one in it just to keep it sturdy. And you can see here at the ends, I use a carriage bolt with an extra couple of nuts to space this out so that it clears better. And that's partially on the design of the tunnel, but it's also because of our ground, what we're working with. So, and you see here we have some thornless blackberries, and those will be trellised up. Those won't hurt this tunnel at all. There'll be a row here and a row over there. We still got to mow and weed that one. This row is going to be moved. There's only a few left in here because of the deer. There's about 8 in here, I think. So those will be moved, and they'll go into that row and that row in any empty spots. And then our Farmer's Friend tunnel is going right here. Now you'll see here where the hat base does not reach the ground, and that's because I didn't want to bury it too far in that end. I would rather make up this gap. So what we're going to do here is we're coming back with is it called Trek? Anyway, the composite deck boards will be going on the bottom of that because we can't have treated wood touch the ground. So that's what we'll be doing there to take care of that little problem. All in all, guys, these are really nice tunnels. I can't brag on them enough. They function well. Not perfect, but I don't reckon much stuff is when it comes to stuff like this. And I still got to cut this pipe off. I got all the rest of them cut off. Rain caught us the other day, but I'll come out here. I'll leave a little bit of extra. I'll cut that off out here and leave just a little bit hanging out. And you can see we got this one in also. Our roll up indoor. Everything looks good. It's important when you put these on that you roll them up to where the fabric is here and it tucks up under the bottom, because that way it don't hold water. This lets it shed water. If you roll it the opposite direction, it collects water. So here we're already framed up for a shutter. So that'll be a greenhouse automatic shutter that'll go in. And we may go ahead and buy the shutters for both greenhouses before we buy the fan. Fans are a bit more expensive. Got to watch the budget, but the shutter isn't nearly as expensive, and that will help with temperature control. We can set that thing to open up and it'll start venting the heat. So, you know, let's say we're out of town and I got someone else watching the tunnel, which rarely happens during tomato season. That's can't afford to lose a tomato crop. So if I got somebody watching the tunnel, then that if they're not here exactly on time, that vent opening will help us to bring the heat out of the tunnel. This time of year, it ain't going to be a big deal because it probably ain't going to get too hot too fast. Even when we put our plants in here in about another month, about a month and a half, actually 6 weeks, it won't hurt nothing. So I'll give you a view down this side. The sun don't interfere. So still got some plastic to pick up. Got to put our ladder up, but she's looking good. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the tour. I hope it maybe answered some questions for you. I hope that everything is working well for you. And there is our Daddy Pete's organic cow manure and so forth that we put in here. That's what it's all covered with. Some well-rotted pine bark also was put in here. I mean, well-rotted, along with cow manure. And we will till this in. We will till this in and add plenty of fertilizer to it so that it can continue to break down. Hopes are that it doesn't damage our tomato crop much, but this ground needed work. It wasn't in the best of shape, so we're doing what we can with it. And after it's tilled in, we're going to come back with a 2 more pickup truckloads of, technically 2.5 pickup truckloads of compost that'll go in here to help putting the plants in, and then this ground will be covered with fabric. So now before the tomatoes go in, we'll be planting lettuce and some brassicas and stuff like that in here, and that will help offset the cost of any propane we have to burn while we are growing our tomato plants out. So you got to do what you got to do, and the lettuce and so forth will definitely help us to bring in a little bit of money to help offset the propane, so that that's not an expense that the farm has to eat during the slow time of the year. So, all right, guys, like and subscribe, share this video, show it to some friends. Give us comments down below. It really helps us and help us out. We're trying to get to 1,000 followers, and we're getting close. So if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, and get your friends and family to subscribe. Thank you much. See you. God bless you.